So 50 times 3 is 150, 50 times 2 is 100, 50 times 1 obviously is 50. So that's the ratio of calories that you need to go to when you're eating your meals. And the reason for that is you do need fat. You need certain kinds of fat. It is very important. Everybody acts like fat's the devil, but it's not. Fat's actually responsible for your hormone production. Fat's also responsible for producing things that keep your joints lubricated, keep your mental alertness good. And actually, EPA and DHA, which are the omega-3 fish oils, do a lot for your memory, for your brain function, for cleaning out your veins and stuff like that. The third rule, and this is very important, a lot of people let this one pass them by. It's eat for the future. Now, how many people know somebody that gets done with a big softball game or that was out hiking all day, then they come home to a big meal? The problem with that is the work's done. You already did the hike, you already did the baseball, it's done. So what are the extra calories for? Nothing. They're getting stored as fat. And they're getting stored as fat this fast. Right when that happens, bam, fat storage mode. And it's because the work's done. Your energy's already expended. So what you need to do is eat for the future. If you're not going to be doing anything for the rest of the day, let's say you're taking a nap. You don't need 300 calories. You probably need 150 calories. You know, if you're going to bed at night and you're on meal number 6 or meal number 5, you don't need a lot of calories right there. So you eat for what you're going to do, not for what you've already done. A lot of people will get back from the gym like, oh, I've been working out for 2 hours. I need 50 grams of protein, 300 grams of carbohydrates. I'm going to go eat 3 chickens from the deli. You know, that's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. You need to eat all that before you go to the gym. And the other is the zigzag rule. And this is kind of like the eat for the future rule. But what it is basically, if you wanted to gain a pound of muscle on your body, what I would do is I would put an excess of 2,500 calories a week in your diet. Because 2,500 calories is what it takes to build a pound of muscle. If you wanted to lose a pound of fat, I would put a deficit of 3,500 calories in your diet. Now, how are you going to do both at once? It'd be very hard to be a deficit of 3,500 and be in the positive of 2,500. You can't do it. It's impossible. So what would happen is on the day that you work out, you would eat an excess amount of calories. On the day that you're off, you're in a deficit of calories, and that's called a zigzag. One day you zig up on calories, the next day you zig down on calories. Now, if you're working out every single day, obviously you need more calories to fuel the workout, but you should take days off to recover. So if you're working out every day, then Saturday and Sunday, that's going to be your down zag, and that's when you're going to be in a deficit of calories. Now, rule number 5 here, we already went through that kind of a little bit. Never eat after 6 p.m. And that's a very hard pill for some people to swallow, especially if you work the night shift or you don't get off till very late at night. But that's just how it is. Now, let's give or take an hour. It's hard for me to guess where your body's at metabolically. But for the most part, if you eat after 6 p.m., it's just going to rapidly store it as fat because your metabolism is slow. By 6 p.m., you're starting to wind down for the day. Now, it's better to just not take a risk. It might be 7 for you, or it might be 5 for you, but it's better just to cut it off at 6, just to be on the safe side. Now, it's easy to see here, if I were to draw a little chart, let's just say you're working here for this period of time, and you're home here, and you go to sleep there. Now, this might represent if you get off at 6 o'clock, and this might represent a period of 6 hours before you go to bed. Now, if you were going to do something like that, go to bed at midnight or even later, then there's going to be a huge gap of time here where you haven't ate, which is in direct violation of eat at least 5 times a day, you know. You're going in starvation mode this entire time that you're awake and not eating. So you can't really be the kind of person that goes out every night and stays up every night and be physically fit. They contrast. They don't really go together. It's either you're going to be fit or you're going to go out every night. Or do whatever. Stay playing video games, drink a case of Mountain Dew, you know. A lot of people do that. That's their choice. But you don't want this huge period of time from when you're working here and then you're off for the rest of the night. And a lot of that's just time management, you know. You know that if you got 6 hours from your last meal, if your last meal is at 5 p.m. and you're going to bed at 10, holy crap, man, that's a lot of time. You're going to get hungry. There's nothing you can do about it, you know. There's no exception to any of these rules except for this never eat after 6 p.m. There's only one exception to that, and that is, anybody ever heard of a calorie deficit food?
Don't do it on me.
We talked about this before.
Is that celery like you eat?
That's one of them, yeah.
Oh, broccoli.
Broccoli, big
Vegetables,
time,
right?
Yep. Any raw vegetables is a calorie deficit food, which means, and that doesn't include fruit. Fruit is high in sugar, a form of sugar called fructose, which converts directly to fat if you don't do some kind of strenuous exercise after eating an apple or whatever it might be. But vegetables, on the other hand, are actually considered a negative calorie food for the most part. There's some that aren't, but for the most part, all raw vegetables are negative in calories, which means if you were to eat a big bowl of spinach and broccoli and celery and all kinds of stuff like that, there might be 250 calories in the entire bowl there, but it might take 300 calories in digestion, which leaves you in a deficit of 50 calories. So you burn actually 50 calories eating the food. And that is the only exception to the fifth rule. If you were going to do something, if you were ever going to eat after 6 p.m., I'd expect you to eat a negative calorie meal. That way you're actually still in a deficit for the day. It gives your metabolism something to do, it gives you a little bit of energy, but your muscle and your intestines are just like any other muscle in your body, and especially when you put a fibrous vegetable in your stomach, your stomach's got to churn, and it's got to pump just like any other muscle, and that's why it burns the majority of those calories off and in excess. Now the problem is what you put on the salad. You can easily put 300 calories worth of ranch in the salad, and it kind of outshadows all of that. So you need to work it out some way to where what you're putting on the salad is also very low in calories, but you have 50 calories here to play with. So whatever you're going to put on it, it shouldn't be more than that. And that's going to leave you in the buffer zone.
Okay, so if you, let's say you eat a salad,
Mm-hmm.
let's say 8 o'clock and you're starving.
Right.
Okay, so you eat that and then you go to bed at 10. Now, your system is trying to digest that while you're sleeping, correct? Are you gonna wake up tired?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
And the reason is you're going to benefit way more if you're not going to bed because of hunger. That is way worse than, than breaking this rule here. You want to have a restful night's sleep, and you will have a restful night's sleep with a full stomach. A lot of people eat before they go to bed. They're out of shape. And the thing is, you are better to stop the hunger pains and eat the salad than you are to be awake all night wishing you would have eaten something, because that just leaves you more time where you're awake and, again, not eating. So, that leads us to the diet and exercise myths. There's 5 very common myths associated with diet and exercise. The number one is that you can target fat loss. That you can somehow, if you have a belly that you want to get rid of, and that's the only spot on your body, that you can do crunches all day and get rid of that belly. That is absolutely false. What you're going to do if you do crunches every day is build a fantastic set of abs underneath a subcutaneous layer of fat. That's how it works. If you do side crunches all day to get rid of your love handles, you're going to have fantastic looking obliques. But then again, they're going to be underneath a pretty thick layer of subcutaneous fat. So that is a myth. That is not true. You cannot target fat loss. But what you can do is burn a certain amount of calories every day, and your body will take them from the entire level of fat, and eventually those problem areas are going to go away, but you got to stick with it, and you got to do it every single day. And number 2, this is very important too. A lot of people, when I first start seeing them, I say, well, if you're going to have a problem eating these meals, what you should do is supplement it with a protein shake. And the first thing people always say, well, isn't that going to cause me to bulk up? No, it's not going to cause you to bulk up. I know guys that have been trying to bulk up for years, and they might never do it. But it's not because of a lack of protein, I'll tell you that. They might eat 200-300 grams of protein a day. Eating protein does not cause you to bulk up. When you go to the gym and you put strain on your muscle, and any workout consists of this: shortening the length from your muscle here to your muscle here. No matter what muscle it is on your body, if you shorten that length, that's a contraction. That works the muscle. If you shorten the length of your muscle a certain amount of times that your body's not used to, it adapts by building muscle. That's what causes you to bulk up, not the protein. And another one is once you